Hi class, we've finally reached the end of our discussion of the Smith and Reagan model, and today we're going to focus on implementation, management, and the evaluation. Now, the visual representation makes us think that this model is linear, which we've already discussed. It appears that everything is separate, but actually the sections are all interwoven, and all three topics are mingled with evaluation and revision. Smith and Reagan define implementation as putting designs into use in the context for which they are intended. Smith and Reagan admonish designers to put early attention to these four key concepts: diffusion, dissemination, adoption, and stakeholders. Now, in chapter 17 of their book, Smith and Reagan focus on encouraging implementation through the stages of the adoption process, which are as follows: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, adoption, and integration. Now, when it comes to management of instruction, Smith and Reagan note the following 7 documents that are critical to management. They are proposal, resource analysis, schedule, budget, risk analysis or troubleshooting plan, assessment and evaluation, project report, and summary. Now, I know I've given you a lot, so let's just take a moment to discuss what's important when it's planning your distance education courses. Now, Smith and Reagan again admonish the designers to make sure that the evaluation occurs during and after design development. This because it informs the designers and the learner if the desired learning has taken place. Now, let's talk about formative evaluations. Formative evaluations aid in determining flaws within the instruction so that you as a designer can make revisions to improve the material and strategies. Now, summative evaluations occur after the project development, and it verifies the overall effectiveness of your instructional materials, which is important when you're building any type of course, even a distance education course. Now, all of this matters to you. Again, it's going to matter when you're building your courses. Now, as a side note, Smith and Reagan suggests that you do your summative and your formative evaluations. Plan for that in your initial planning phases. Okay, because remember, Smith and Reagan are really big on front-end analysis and taking care of business at the beginning. Now, let's keep talking more about the formative evaluation. These involve trying out of the instructional materials with your intended audience. So this will be your students. So Smith and Reagan said that formative evaluations are often passed over, but if you really want quality, then you need to do formative evaluations. That's very necessary. Now let's switch back over and talk about those summative evaluations, which occur at the end. This is where you collect and summarize your data for the overall effectiveness, appeal, and efficiency of your instruction. When you're doing this, Smith and Reagan do suggest a few questions. How do the learners feel about the instruction? Do the learners achieve the goal of the instruction? And how much time does it take for learners to complete the instruction? Now, when it comes to summative evaluations, they should take place again during that first implementation of a program. Now, that's because teachers are pretty much still learning how to implement the instruction. So keep this in mind when you're designing your distance education course. Hopefully you've learned the purpose of the Smith and Reagan model and how you can use it to prepare large amounts of instruction for a course, including your distance education course. Think about your design for your distance education course that you're going to design later this semester. Now, this was the end of our lesson today. I hope you learned a lot, even if it wasn't the most interesting lesson. And don't forget to take the evaluation at the end and to also do the survey.